Accept being hated or you'll always be controlled by others. Stoicism. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. Here's the truth. Not everyone will like you. Your words, decisions, or simply being yourself can spark disapproval. But that's not a flaw, it's a signal. It means you're standing for something real, living authentically instead of conforming. Yet so many of us fear being disliked, letting the opinions of others shape our lives. What if you could break free from that fear? What if accepting, even embracing, being hated became your greatest strength? In today's video, we'll explore how Stoicism teaches us to rise above judgment, turn criticism into growth, and reclaim control over our lives. Whether it's dealing with toxic relationships, workplace politics, or online scrutiny, this is your guide to living boldly without needing approval. Ready to embrace your freedom? Let's dive in. 1. Why people might dislike us. Why might people dislike us? It's a question we all grapple with at some point, and understanding it can lead to greater self-awareness and resilience. Often, dislike arises simply because we stand out. Our choices, values, or way of living deviate from the norm. Think about Steve Jobs, who famously dropped out of college to chase his vision of technology's future. His parents were bewildered, many questioned his choices, and yet, his willingness to defy convention ultimately reshaped the world. The truth is, when you dare to be different, you challenge the comfort zone of those around you, and discomfort often manifests as dislike. At other times, dislike stems from the decisions we make, especially when those decisions impact others. Picture a manager tasked with safeguarding a company's future by making tough choices, perhaps laying off employees to keep the business afloat. Such decisions are never easy, but they're necessary. No matter how justified, someone will always feel wronged. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation, having to choose between what's necessary and what's popular? It's in these moments that dislike is less about you as a person and more about the role you play or the responsibility you shoulder. Then, there's the reality that sometimes people dislike us, not because of anything we've done, but because of their own internal struggles. Perhaps it's their insecurity, envy, or preconceived notions clouding their perspective. Have you ever met someone who seemed to harbor animosity toward you from the start, even without knowing you? Chances are their feelings had little to do with you and more to do with their own battles. This is a crucial reminder. We can't control how others perceive us, but we can control how much power we give those perceptions. Let me share a story that highlights these dynamics. Sarah, a young entrepreneur, decided to quit her high-paying corporate job to start a sustainable fashion brand. Her family and friends were skeptical, and some outright disapproved, accusing her of throwing away a stable career for a pipe dream. Over time, as her brand gained traction, she faced criticism from competitors accusing her of being too idealistic, and from strangers online questioning her motives. But Sarah's perseverance and belief in her vision kept her grounded. She realized that much of the negativity she encountered came from those who either didn't understand her or felt threatened by her success. By focusing on her purpose rather than seeking approval, she not only built a successful business, but also inspired others to take bold risks. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the opinions of others are beyond our control, but our reactions to them are fully within our power. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When we focus on living according to our values, rather than chasing external validation, we liberate ourselves from the grip of others' judgments. The next time you face disapproval or feel the sting of criticism, pause and reflect. Is this dislike rooted in your authenticity, your decisions, or someone else's insecurities? Whatever the reason, don't let it deter you from your path. Instead, use it as an opportunity to grow stronger in your convictions. Remember, being disliked isn't a failure. It's often a sign that you're living boldly with purpose. Embrace it and you'll find that the freedom to be yourself is far more valuable than the fleeting comfort of others' approval. You will never please everyone, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's necessary for a life of authenticity and meaning. Focus on what you can control: your actions, your values, and your response to criticism. Let the rest go. By doing so, you'll not only live with greater clarity and peace, but you'll also inspire others to do the same. What matters is not being liked by everyone, but being true to yourself. Are you ready to let go of the need for approval and take control of your life? 2. The impact of being disliked. Let's dive into the impact of being disliked and explore how Stoicism can help us turn this common fear into a source of strength. As social beings, we naturally seek approval. It's hardwired into us. We want to belong, to be liked, to be accepted. But what happens when we're not? When someone disapproves of us, it can feel like a punch to the gut. Think back to your high school days. Remember how it felt when the popular crowd didn't accept you? The anxious pit in your stomach, the second guessing of your every move, the relentless urge to fit in. Even as adults, those feelings linger. We may mask them better, but the pain of rejection still creeps in, making us doubt ourselves, feel small, and question our worth. And science backs this up. Studies show that social rejection activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. Yes, being disliked can literally hurt. But why does it affect us so deeply? Part of the answer lies in how we choose to react. When faced with dislike, many of us fall into one of three common traps. Some of us become chameleons, changing who we are to gain approval. We downplay our quirks, suppress our true opinions, or abandon our dreams to avoid rocking the boat. It's like wearing an invisible mask, always adapting to what we think others want, but losing ourselves in the process. Others take a different route: defensiveness or aggression. They lash out, pushing back against criticism with anger, determined to protect themselves by going on the offensive. "You can't reject me, I reject you first," they seem to say, but this only deepens the divide and isolates them further. Then there are those who retreat. They withdraw from social situations, stop sharing ideas, and avoid forming meaningful connections, all in an attempt to shield themselves from further rejection. This self-imposed isolation might feel safe in the short term, but it leads to loneliness, missed opportunities, and a life lived in the shadows. But what if there's another way? A path where being disliked doesn't control us but empowers us. This is where Stoicism offers timeless guidance. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers of resilience, believed that true peace comes not from chasing approval, but from aligning with your values. They taught us that we can't control others' opinions, but we can control how we respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoics, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What if, instead of fearing rejection, you saw it as a chance to stand firm in your beliefs? What if criticism became less about their opinions and more about your growth? How often do we let the fear of being disliked dictate our choices? We play it safe, avoid risks, and silence our voices just to keep the peace. But ask yourself, at what cost? The Stoics remind us that external validation is fleeting, while inner integrity is enduring. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What he meant was that growth often requires us to face discomfort, including the discomfort of others' disapproval. In your own life, have you ever held back from pursuing a goal, sharing an idea, or simply being yourself because you feared judgment? What if, instead of shrinking, you stood tall? There's immense power in owning your truth even when it makes others uncomfortable. Look at some of the most impactful figures in history: Martin Luther King Jr., Malala Yousafzai, or even modern innovators like Elon Musk. Each faced intense criticism and dislike, but they didn't let it deter them. Instead, they focused on their purpose and used the friction as fuel to push forward. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore all criticism. Stoicism encourages us to examine feedback thoughtfully. Is the critique valid? Can it help us improve? If so, embrace it with humility. But if it's rooted in misunderstanding or malice, let it go. As Seneca wisely said, "What others think of you is none of your business." Imagine the freedom in that mindset, the ability to live authentically without being shackled by others' opinions. Being disliked is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be debilitating. Instead of fearing it, use it as an opportunity to clarify your values, strengthen your resolve, and grow into the person you're meant to be. Stop giving others the power to dictate your self-worth. Your worth isn't measured by how many people like you, but by how aligned you are with your principles. By embracing this mindset, you'll not only free yourself from the constant pursuit of approval, but also inspire others to live boldly and authentically. So I leave you with this question. Are you living a life that's true to yourself? Or are you letting the fear of being disliked hold you back? The choice is yours, and the power, always, is within your control. 3. The Stoic approach to dislike. The Stoic approach to dealing with dislike is rooted in principles that have endured for centuries, offering timeless wisdom on how to navigate criticism and stay true to oneself. One such principle is voluntary discomfort. The practice of deliberately exposing oneself to challenging situations to build resilience. The Stoics understood that discomfort, whether physical or emotional, was not something to fear, but a tool to strengthen the mind. In the context of being disliked, this means learning to sit with the unease of disapproval, understanding that it is not a reflection of your worth, but an opportunity to grow more steadfast in your principles. As Seneca advised, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." Embracing discomfort, especially the kind that comes from rejection, is an act of daring. It is a way to fortify ourselves against life's inevitable challenges. Equally central to Stoic thought is the dichotomy of control, a concept that invites us to focus on what we can influence while letting go of what we cannot. This is particularly relevant when dealing with other people's opinions. You cannot control how others perceive you, whether they like you or not, but you can control your response. Instead of wasting energy chasing approval, Stoicism encourages you to redirect that energy inward, toward your thoughts, actions, and values. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, captured this beautifully when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By accepting that dislike is often beyond our control, we free ourselves from the exhausting and futile effort of trying to please everyone. Another critical practice in Stoicism is self-reflection. The habit of examining our thoughts and actions to ensure they align with our principles. When faced with criticism or dislike, instead of reacting impulsively, a Stoic pauses to ask, "Is this criticism valid? Does it challenge me to improve? Or is it merely a reflection of someone else's biases or insecurities?" This reflective pause turns criticism into a potential tool for growth. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated this in his own life, navigating immense pressures and opposition while maintaining his composure and focus. In Meditations, he wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed." This humility to learn from valid criticism, coupled with the strength to dismiss baseless disapproval, allowed him to lead with integrity, even under the scrutiny of an empire. These principles apply to modern life. When yourself in a work environment where a decision you make draws criticism from colleagues, perhaps you've chosen a direction that aligns with your values, but disrupts the status quo. The initial sting of being disliked may tempt you to second-guess your choice, but by applying the dichotomy of control, you remind yourself, their opinions are not within your sphere of influence, but your commitment to your principles is. By embracing voluntary discomfort, you accept the unease as a natural part of growth. And through self-reflection, you examine whether their criticism holds merit, using it to refine your decision if necessary. This approach doesn't just help you navigate criticism, it transforms it into a stepping stone for personal development. The story of Marcus Aurelius offers a profound example of this mindset in action. Despite holding immense power, he recognized that public opinion was beyond his control. Instead of chasing popularity, he focused on living virtuously and leading effectively. This philosophy resonates with modern leaders, entrepreneurs, and anyone facing the weight of expectations. The lesson is clear: staying true to your values, even in the face of disapproval, is the ultimate measure of strength and character. The Stoics remind us that the discomfort of being disliked is fleeting, but the peace of living authentically is enduring. So how can you apply these lessons in your own life? Let's begin by embracing the discomfort of being disliked. When faced with criticism, resist the urge to defend or conform immediately. Instead, pause and ask yourself, does this feedback align with my values? Use the dichotomy of control to focus on what truly matters: your actions, your integrity, and your growth. Remember, as Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By shifting your perspective, you can turn moments of rejection into opportunities for resilience and clarity. Finally, reflect on your ultimate source of validation. The Stoics teach us that the most important opinion about you is your own. Criticism, when viewed through a Stoic lens, is not something to endure. 4. Transforming dislike into growth. Transforming dislike into growth is not just about enduring the discomfort of criticism, but about reframing it as an opportunity to rise stronger and more authentic. The power of acceptance begins with a simple, yet profound truth. You cannot control what others think of you, but you have full command over how you respond to their opinions. Think about how much energy you've spent trying to make everyone like you, adapting your behavior, changing your choices, silencing your voice, all in the pursuit of approval that, in reality, will never be universal. It's exhausting, isn't it? And the hard truth is, no matter what you do, there will always be someone who disapproves of you. Accepting this truth liberates you from the relentless chase for validation, allowing you to redirect your focus to what truly matters: living according to your values, chasing your goals, and embracing your authentic self. But let's clear up a common misconception. Acceptance is not the same as approval. To accept being disliked does not mean you enjoy it or condone poor treatment. Instead, it's about recognizing reality and refusing to let that reality dictate your sense of self-worth or derail your purpose. Imagine, for instance, that you're presenting an idea at work. You've done your homework, you're confident in your proposal, but in the back row there's a colleague sitting with arms crossed and a scowl on their face. Acceptance doesn't mean you dismiss your hard work or adjust your message just to win them over. It simply means acknowledging, this person doesn't agree with me, and moving forward with confidence in what you've prepared. By not internalizing their reaction, you preserve your energy and stay focused on your goals. This principle isn't new. Consider the story of Cato the Younger, a Roman statesman known for his unshakable moral integrity during an era of widespread political corruption. One day, while delivering a passionate speech against corruption in the Senate, a political rival became so enraged that he spat in Cato's face, an act of profound disrespect in Roman society. The room fell silent, all eyes on Cato, waiting to see his response. But instead of reacting with anger or humiliation, Cato calmly wiped his face and continued his speech as if nothing had happened. He didn't let his rival's contempt alter his composure or distract him from his mission. Cato's dignified response exemplifies the power of accepting dislike. He acknowledged the insult but refused to let it control him, showing that true strength lies in staying true to one's principles, even in the face of disdain. Now let's talk about transforming dislike into a tool for personal growth. Criticism, no matter how uncomfortable, is often a mirror that reveals truths we might otherwise ignore. Have you ever been criticized and, after the initial sting faded, Found yourself thinking, maybe they have a point. That moment of reflection is where growth begins. Criticism challenges us to question our assumptions, reevaluate our actions, and push beyond our comfort zones. But not all criticism is created equal. It's crucial to separate the noise from the wisdom. Ask yourself, is this criticism specific? Is it actionable? Does it come from someone whose opinion carries weight or expertise? If the answer is yes, you've uncovered a valuable opportunity for improvement. But if the feedback is vague, overly personal, or irrelevant, you can acknowledge it without letting it affect you. A modern example of turning widespread dislike into growth is the story of Elon Musk. In the early days of Tesla and SpaceX, Musk faced relentless skepticism and criticism. His ambitious goals, creating practical electric cars and pioneering reusable rockets, were dismissed as unrealistic. Many disliked his brash demeanor, and his companies were often on the brink of failure. Instead of retreating, Musk used valid critiques to fuel his drive. When critics said electric cars couldn't be sexy or functional, he worked harder to make the Tesla Model S a reality. When skeptics claimed reusable rockets were a fantasy, he and his team doubled down on innovation, eventually achieving groundbreaking success. Musk didn't let the dislike or criticism stop him. He used it as a challenge to improve, proving his detractors wrong and revolutionizing two industries in the process. While you may not be building rockets or electric cars, you can adopt the same mindset in your life. Accepting dislike doesn't mean you'll never feel its sting. It means you'll learn to navigate those feelings without being controlled by them. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote in Meditations, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is harmed." This mindset transforms criticism from a source of insecurity into a catalyst for clarity and growth. When you embrace this perspective, you realize that the dislike of others often has more to do with their own limitations or biases than with your intrinsic worth. So, how can you apply this to your life? Start by practicing self-awareness. When faced with criticism, pause and ask yourself, is this feedback valid? Does it align with my values? Can it help me improve? Then, act accordingly. Accept what's useful, discard what isn't, and move forward without dwelling on the negativity. Remember that the most important opinion about you is your own, rooted in your principles and authenticity. By embracing this mindset, you free yourself from the exhausting need to please everyone, allowing you to live a life of greater integrity, purpose, and peace. You're here because you're ready to reclaim your freedom and embrace your truth. Comment below with strength and authenticity to show your resolve. Stay connected. More wisdom and growth await you on this Stoic journey. 5. Practical strategies. Let's get practical about handling negative opinions, because knowing something in theory is one thing, but putting it into action when you're face-to-face with disapproval is a whole different challenge. The first and most crucial step is developing emotional resilience, your ability to bounce back from negative experiences. Think of it like building an emotional muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. One of the best ways to strengthen this resilience is through reframing, a powerful psychological tool. Instead of telling yourself, "This person dislikes me, so I must be a failure," try shifting your perspective to something like, "Their opinion is one of many. It doesn't define me." This mental shift can be liberating, freeing you from the weight of one negative voice. Alongside reframing, practice self-compassion, a trait that's often overlooked. Imagine how you'd support a close friend in the same situation. Would you criticize them harshly or remind them they're human doing their best? Treat yourself with that same kindness. Say to yourself, "This is tough, but I'm learning and growing. I'll get through it." Now let's talk about personal boundaries. an essential skill for preserving self-respect and minimizing the emotional impact of others' negativity. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out, but setting clear limits on how you allow others to treat you. If a colleague is constantly offering unhelpful critiques, you might respond by saying, "I value actionable feedback, but general negativity isn't helpful. Let's focus on specific suggestions for improvement." This approach isn't just about protecting your peace. It's about creating healthier interactions that prioritize mutual respect. Remember, you're not obligated to engage in every conflict or entertain every opinion. Sometimes walking away is the most powerful boundary you can set. Another strategy that can transform how you handle criticism is mindfulness. The practice of being fully present and aware of your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When someone's disapproval stings, instead of reacting impulsively, pause. Take a deep breath. Notice the emotions bubbling up and where you feel them physically. Maybe a knot in your stomach or a tightening in your chest. Simply observing these sensations without judgment can create space between the trigger, someone's dislike, and your response. This pause helps you choose a reaction aligned with your values rather than an impulsive one driven by hurt. Pair mindfulness with self-reflection, and you have a powerful combination. Regularly check in with yourself. What are your core values? Are your actions aligned with them? When you're secure in who you are, others' opinions lose their power to destabilize you. Let's make this interactive. Think back to a recent time when you felt disliked or criticized. Hold that memory in your mind for a moment. How did it make you feel? Where in your body did you notice those emotions? Instead of pushing the discomfort away, let's reframe it together. Ask yourself, is there something I can learn from this situation? Does the criticism hold any truth I can use to improve? If not, can I see this as an opportunity to stand firm in my principles? Once you've done that, consider setting a boundary. How might you handle a similar situation in the future? Could you politely but firmly express your limits to ensure your peace of mind? Finally, offer yourself some compassion. Say to yourself, "This was a challenging experience, but it doesn't define me. I'm doing my best and I'm growing because of it." How do you feel now? A little lighter? That's the power of these strategies. They don't erase dislike, but they change how you respond to it, putting you back in control of your emotions and actions. Handling negative opinions is like learning any other skill. It takes time and practice. You won't master it overnight, and that's perfectly okay. The goal isn't to become immune to criticism. It's to build the resilience to face it with grace and clarity. And the beauty of this process is that it frees you from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. When you accept that dislike is inevitable, you make space for a more authentic, purposeful life. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the broader implications of these strategies. The Stoics teach us that life's challenges, including criticism and rejection, are opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What if you approached every moment of dislike as a chance to strengthen your emotional resilience, refine your values, and deepen your understanding of yourself? Instead of viewing negative opinions as obstacles, see them as stepping stones on the path to your best self. Accepting dislike isn't just about defending yourself from hurt feelings. It's about embracing the freedom to live authentically, without being tethered to others' opinions. It's about recognizing that the only approval you truly need is your own. As time someone criticizes you, take a deep breath, pause, and remind yourself that you have the tools to navigate this with strength and grace. Reframe the criticism, set your boundaries, and above all, show yourself the compassion you deserve. These strategies aren't just about surviving dislike, they're about thriving in spite of it. The road to embracing dislike is a journey, but one worth taking. It leads to a life of greater authenticity, resilience, and peace. 6. Application in real-life scenarios. Applying the Stoic principles of acceptance and resilience to real-life scenarios is where the philosophy truly comes alive, allowing you to navigate challenges in a way that aligns with your values while maintaining your composure. Let's explore how these ideas can be put into practice in 3 common areas of life: the workplace, personal relationships, and the unpredictable world of social media. In the workplace, imagine you're presenting a new idea during a team meeting, a concept you've worked hard on and are genuinely excited about. As you explain, you catch a colleague, let's call him John, rolling his eyes. After the meeting, John pulls you aside and bluntly says, "That's never going to work. You're wasting everyone's time." Harsh, right? In that moment, your instinct might be to feel defensive or defeated, but here's where Stoicism can guide you. First, accept the reality of the situation. John doesn't approve of your idea, but that's just his opinion, not an absolute truth. It doesn't mean your idea is bad or that you've failed. Next, take a moment to evaluate whether there's any constructive feedback hidden in his criticism. Is he raising a specific concern you can address? If not, his negativity may simply be a reflection of his own perspective, not your competence. Set a boundary by calmly responding. "John, I appreciate your feedback. In the future, it would be more helpful to share your thoughts during the meeting so we can discuss them as a team." Finally, reflect on your own position. Does your idea align with your values and the company's goals? If so, stand firm. Let John's disapproval motivate you to refine your pitch, not abandon it. Shifting to personal relationships, consider a situation where your career choice has disappointed your parents. Perhaps you've decided to pursue a career in the arts, but they had always envisioned you becoming a doctor or a lawyer. This is a deeply emotional scenario because it involves people you love and respect, making their disapproval harder to bear. Start by accepting their perspective without letting it define you. Recognize that their criticism likely stems from concern for your future, rather than a rejection of who you are. To navigate this, look for the underlying issue. Are they worried about your financial stability or job security? Address these concerns directly and thoughtfully. Set boundaries that protect your emotional well-being, such as agreeing to avoid debates about your career choice during family gatherings. Explain respectfully, "I value your opinion, but I need you to respect my decision. Let's focus on enjoying our time together instead of arguing about this." Remember, it's possible to love your parents deeply while standing firm in your choices. Now let's tackle social media, the modern-day arena of public opinion, where criticism can feel overwhelming. Imagine posting a photo of yourself at a political rally, only to find your notifications flooded with angry comments from people who disagree with your views. First, take a breath and accept the nature of the platform. Social media amplifies diverse and often polarizing opinions, and encountering disagreement is inevitable. This disapproval is not a reflection of your worth. It's a byproduct of sharing your voice in a public space. Decide whether any of the comments merit a response. Is there an opportunity for constructive dialogue? If so, engage thoughtfully and respectfully. If the comments are purely hostile, remember that you're under no obligation to engage. Deleting or ignoring unproductive negativity isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of setting boundaries. Consider turning off comments on particularly sensitive posts or curating your feed to create a more supportive digital environment. Most importantly, reflect on your purpose for sharing. Are you expressing a core value or raising awareness for a cause you believe in? Ground yourself in that purpose and let it anchor you in the face of criticism. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In this case, your reaction defines your strength and focus, not the opinions of strangers. Across all these scenarios, whether in the workplace, with family, or online, the key is to stay true to yourself while navigating the complexities of social interactions. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control others' opinions, but we can control how we respond to them. By accepting dislike as a natural part of life, seeking constructive feedback when it's available, and setting firm yet respectful boundaries, you can face criticism with dignity and grace. This isn't about never feeling hurt or frustrated. It's about developing the resilience to move forward despite those feelings. Over time, these practices become second nature, helping you live more authentically and with greater peace of mind. So, next time you encounter disapproval, remember to pause, reflect, and respond in a way that aligns with your values. As Seneca said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This journey of embracing dislike isn't just about managing criticism, it's about mastering the art of living true to yourself. Are you ready to step into that freedom? 7. Cultivating inner peace. Cultivating inner peace amid external disapproval is perhaps the most profound challenge we face, and it is where the true essence of Stoic philosophy comes into play. Handling isolated instances of dislike is one thing, but maintaining a steady sense of calm and integrity in the face of ongoing criticism is another. The first step in this journey is to ground yourself in your personal values and integrity. When you're crystal clear about your values, the opinions of others lose their power to unsteady you. Think of your values as an internal compass. No matter how tumultuous the external environment, this compass guides you back to your true north. When disapproval arises, check your alignment with these values. Are your actions and choices consistent with what you believe is right? If the answer is yes, then you can stand firm in your decisions, knowing they reflect your integrity. If one of your core values is honesty and you face criticism for speaking an uncomfortable truth, take solace in the fact that you acted authentically. Disapproval may sting, but it won't destroy you when your foundation is built on unwavering principles. Another key to cultivating inner peace is to build a supportive network. Surround yourself with people who value you for who you are, those who uplift you and challenge you in meaningful ways. This doesn't mean seeking out an echo chamber where everyone agrees with you. That's not real support. Instead, it's about finding people who can respectfully disagree with you while still honoring your worth. These individuals act as a safe harbor in the stormy seas of disapproval. When negativity weighs on you, they remind you of your strengths and encourage you to stay true to your path. Think of a close friend, mentor, or family member who can offer a balanced perspective when the world feels harsh. A profound example of inner peace comes from an ancient Zen story about a monk renowned for his unshakable calm. One day, a warrior arrived, hurling insults and provocations in an attempt to spark a fight. The monk, serene and composed, asked the warrior, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The warrior, puzzled, replied, "To the giver, I suppose." The monk smiled and said, "Exactly, and it is the same with your insults and anger. I choose not to accept them. They remain yours." This story illustrates a profound truth. We have the power to choose our responses to external negativity. The monk's peace was not contingent on the warrior's behavior, because he recognized that the gift, or in this case the insult, only has power when accepted. By refusing to take in the negativity, the monk maintained his inner calm, demonstrating the ultimate act of self-control. In our own lives, this lesson is incredibly relevant. Disapproval and criticism are inevitable, but we can decide whether to internalize them or let them roll off our backs. This doesn't mean ignoring valid feedback or pretending we are immune to hurt. It means developing the awareness to pause, assess, and decide how deeply we allow external negativity to penetrate our inner world. Cultivating inner peace also requires a commitment to lifelong growth and self-awareness. It's not about achieving a state where nothing ever bothers you. That's neither realistic nor human. Instead, it's about developing the ability to return to your center, even amid chaos. Like a ship battered by waves, your inner peace acts as the ballast, steadying you against external forces. This process takes practice and intention. Mindfulness, for example, can help you observe your thoughts and emotions without being ruled by them. When you feel the sting of criticism or rejection, pause. Breathe deeply. Notice the sensations in your body and the thoughts swirling in your mind, but resist the urge to judge or act impulsively. Simply observing these reactions creates a space where you can choose your response thoughtfully rather than reflexively. In life, this ability to cultivate inner peace is invaluable. Think about the last time you faced disapproval. Perhaps it was at work, within your family, or even on social media. How did you respond? Did you let it dictate your emotions, or were you able to stand firm in your sense of self? Developing this skill is not about perfection, but progress. Even small moments of calm can make a world of difference. The next time you encounter criticism, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and preserves my peace? This mindset shifts the experience from one of defeat to one of empowerment. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the essence of cultivating inner peace, knowing that your reactions, not the external circumstances, determine your well-being. So take a moment to reflect. What steps can you take today to strengthen your inner calm? Who can you turn to for support, and what values will guide you through life's storms? This journey isn't easy, but it's deeply rewarding. By grounding yourself in your principles, surrounding yourself with genuine support, and practicing mindful detachment, you can face the world's disapproval with dignity and grace. Ultimately, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to live authentically, unshaken by the opinions of others. 8. Long-term benefits of embracing dislike. Embracing dislike is not just a defensive strategy, it's a doorway to living a more authentic, confident, and resilient life. When you let go of the exhausting need to please everyone, you unlock the freedom to be unapologetically yourself. Now imagine reclaiming that energy and using it to express your true thoughts, pursue your genuine passions, and live according to your actual values, not the ones someone else has chosen for you. This authenticity naturally fosters self-confidence because you're no longer second-guessing every move. You're no longer trapped in a loop of wondering if this decision will make someone dislike you, or if that opinion will ruffle feathers. Instead, you stand firm in who you are, and that kind of unwavering confidence becomes unshakable over time. Think about the people you admire most, those who inspire you with their courage and conviction. Chances are they're not people-pleasers. They're individuals who stand for something meaningful, even if it means being disliked. Figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Eleanor Roosevelt, or even modern leaders like Malala Yousafzai didn't aim to win everyone's approval. They had the strength to endure criticism and disapproval because they believed deeply in their principles. This is the kind of confidence and clarity you cultivate when you embrace the inevitability of being disliked. As Epictetus wisely said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. True growth often requires us to walk paths others may not understand. Beyond confidence, embracing dislike sharpens your decision-making skills. When you're consumed by the need to be liked, you might avoid making necessary but unpopular decisions. You might favor the path of least resistance over the one that truly aligns with your goals and values. But when you accept that dislike is sometimes the price of integrity, you free yourself to make decisions based on what is right, not what is easy. Consider this in the workplace. A manager who fears disapproval may hesitate to address underperformance or make tough calls to steer a project back on track. On the other hand, a manager who accepts that not everyone will agree with them can act decisively for the greater good. The same principle applies in parenting. A parent willing to endure their child's temporary displeasure to enforce boundaries, like limiting screen time or insisting on completing homework, is setting the foundation for long-term growth and well-being. Embracing dislike also builds resilience, your ability to stand firm in the face of adversity. Every time you hold your ground despite criticism or disapproval, you're proving to yourself that you can handle discomfort and remain true to your values. This emotional strength becomes like an immune system. The more you exercise it, the more robust it gets. Resilience serves you in all aspects of life. Whether you're bouncing back from a career setback, navigating a challenging relationship, or pursuing a passion project like starting a business or writing a book, resilience helps you persist where others might falter. You learn to filter out noise, absorbing constructive feedback while discarding baseless negativity. This clarity and tenacity often make the difference between giving up and achieving your goals. Let me share an example of resilience in action. Consider an entrepreneur building a new business. At every turn, they're met with criticism, investors who doubt their vision, friends who question their choices, and strangers on social media quick to offer unsolicited opinions. If this entrepreneur were consumed by the need to be liked, they'd likely crumble under the pressure. But by embracing dislike, they focus instead on refining their ideas, learning from valid critiques, and staying committed to their mission. It's this mindset that enables them to weather setbacks, pivot when necessary, and ultimately succeed where others might have abandoned the effort. The same resilience applies to anyone pursuing long-term goals. You can't let every criticism knock you off course. Instead, you must learn to see disapproval as part of the process. At its core, embracing dislike transforms you. It changes not just how you handle criticism, but who you are as a person. You become more authentic because you're no longer hiding behind a facade crafted for others' approval. You grow more confident because you trust yourself instead of seeking validation from others. Your decisions become clearer and more impactful because they're guided by your values, not external pressures. And your resilience becomes a quiet strength that anchors you through life's inevitable challenges. This transformation allows you to live on your own terms, pursuing what genuinely matters without being held back by the fear of disapproval. When you stop chasing everyone's approval, you often gain genuine respect. People are drawn to authenticity, and they admire those who stand firm in their beliefs, even when it's unpopular. By embracing the possibility of being disliked, you position yourself as someone who commands admiration, a person of integrity, conviction, and quiet confidence. Are you ready to let go of the need for universal approval and start living authentically? It's not easy, but the rewards are immense. The more you stand firm in your values, the more confident, resilient, and fulfilled you'll become. 9. Embracing dislike as a path to freedom. One of the most liberating gifts you can give yourself is the freedom that comes from embracing being disliked. When you stop letting the fear of others' opinions dictate your choices, you open the door to living a life that truly aligns with your values and desires. How often do we hesitate, not because we lack the ability or resources, but because we're worried about what others might think? Whether it's pursuing a passion project, setting firm boundaries in a difficult relationship, or simply speaking our mind, the fear of disapproval can act like an invisible cage. By accepting that not everyone will like or agree with us, we unlock that cage and step into a life of authenticity and purpose. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Isn't it time to prioritize your own perspective over those who may not fully understand your path? When you embrace the reality that disapproval is inevitable, you also reclaim your mental energy. Worrying about being liked is not only exhausting but also unproductive. It consumes your thoughts, making you second-guess decisions or replay conversations, trying to decipher where you went wrong. Imagine redirecting that energy towards something more meaningful, pursuing your dreams, deepening relationships that truly matter, or focusing on personal growth. Epictetus reminds us, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." The opinions of others fall squarely into the category of things we cannot control. What we can control, however, is how we choose to live and how much value we place on living authentically. This mindset is particularly crucial in leadership. A leader who fears being disliked will often avoid difficult but necessary decisions, opting for choices that ruffle the fewest feathers rather than those that lead to the best outcomes. In contrast, a leader who accepts the inevitability of disapproval can make tough calls with confidence, knowing they are acting in the best interest of the team or organization. When you accept that dislike is sometimes the price of staying true to yourself, you can prioritize what truly matters. Whether it's protecting time with loved ones, pursuing a passion others might not understand, or advocating for a cause close to your heart, letting go of the need for approval allows you to live boldly and with intention. There's also a deeper layer to this freedom. It's not just about external choices but internal peace. When you embrace being disliked, you begin to detach from the weight of others' expectations. You stop carrying the unnecessary burden of trying to manage how others perceive you. This isn't to say you become careless or dismissive of others' feelings, but rather that you learn to place their opinions in perspective. At its heart, embracing being disliked is about living with courage. It takes courage to pursue your path, especially when others don't understand or approve of it. It takes courage to stand up for your values when they're not popular. And it takes courage to prioritize what truly matters to you, even if it means disappointing others along the way. But in doing so, you not only free yourself from the shackles of external validation, but you also become a beacon of authenticity for others. As Seneca wisely said, you are a slave to the person whose approval you seek. By letting go of the need for everyone's approval, you reclaim your autonomy and inspire others to do the same. In the end, the freedom to be yourself, regardless of what others think, is one of the most powerful transformations you can experience. It allows you to live with integrity, make decisions with confidence, and cultivate relationships that are built on mutual respect rather than superficial approval. When you stop chasing after everyone's approval, you often gain deeper respect from those who matter most. Authenticity, after all, is magnetic. By standing firm in your values and embracing the possibility of being disliked, you set an example of courage and conviction that others admire. Congratulations on taking a step toward living authentically. Share your commitment by commenting, "I own my path," and let us know how you're applying these principles. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on your Stoic journey. Together, we're unstoppable. ***. 10. Using dislike to strengthen your relationships. Embracing the possibility of being disliked might seem like a paradox when it comes to building stronger relationships, but it's one of the most powerful tools for creating meaningful and lasting connections. At first glance, it's tempting to think that avoiding conflict or seeking constant approval is the key to harmony. However, relationships built on a foundation of honesty and authenticity, where both people feel free to express their true selves, are far more fulfilling. When you let go of the fear of being disliked, you give yourself the freedom to be honest, even when your opinions or actions might cause temporary friction. This honesty is what builds trust because it shows that you value the relationship enough to be real rather than hiding behind a facade. As Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows. Similarly, you can't truly connect with someone if you're not willing to show them your authentic self. This approach also allows you to set and maintain healthy boundaries, an essential component of any strong relationship. Often people shy away from setting boundaries because they fear it might upset others or make them seem unkind. However, boundaries are not barriers. They're a way of defining what is acceptable and what isn't in a relationship. Saying no to a friend's request might momentarily disappoint them, but it protects your emotional well-being and ensures the relationship doesn't become one-sided. Likewise, expressing your needs in a partnership might lead to difficult conversations, but it creates space for both individuals to feel seen and valued. Marcus Aurelius offered timeless advice when he said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This means we should approach others with empathy while staying true to our own values and limits. Setting boundaries is not about rejecting others. It's about respecting both yourself and the relationship. Another unexpected benefit of embracing dislike is the clarity it brings to identifying who truly belongs in your life. The people who respect and support you for being authentic, even when they don't fully agree with you, are the ones worth keeping close. These are the relationships that grow stronger through mutual respect and understanding. On the other hand, those who withdraw their support or affection when you stand firm in your truth may not have your best interests at heart. This realization can be painful, but it's also liberating. It allows you to focus your energy on connections that uplift and empower you, rather than those that drain you. By leaning into honesty and authenticity, you open the door to deeper, more genuine relationships. When you're willing to embrace dislike, you create a space where trust, respect, and mutual growth can thrive. It's not about being confrontational or dismissive. It's about standing firm in your truth while allowing others the freedom to do the same. This dynamic builds stronger bonds because it is rooted in genuine connection rather than surface-level approval. As you reflect on your relationships, ask yourself, are you building connections based on authenticity? Or are you prioritizing approval at the expense of your true self? By letting go of the fear of being disliked, you don't just strengthen your relationships, you transform them into sources of mutual respect and empowerment. This is the kind of connection that doesn't just survive the tests of time and conflict, but grows stronger because of them. As we bring this video to a close, I want to leave you with a powerful reminder. The transformation you seek begins with action. What would your life look like if you embraced the freedom of living authentically, unshackled by the fear of disapproval? This is the journey we've explored together, and now it's your turn to take the first step. Apply what you've learned today. Set a boundary, reframe a piece of criticism, or choose to act in alignment with your values even when it feels uncomfortable. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is within you, waiting to be cultivated. I challenge you to try one of these principles today and share your experience in the comments. What worked for you? What did you learn? Your story might inspire someone else to take their first step toward a more authentic life. And if you found this content valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more practical wisdom to help you navigate challenges with resilience and grace. Together, let's build a community of individuals committed to growth, inner peace, and living boldly. In the words of Seneca, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Let's let go of that unnecessary weight, embrace the power of accepting dislike, and step fully into who we are meant to be. Thank you for being here. Stay stoic, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.